Hello, am I audible, students?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good evening, everyone. How are you all? Doing good?
Fine.
Yes,
How are you?
Wonderful. All right, so today we will continue. So, in the previous class, we left off at the connecting links part, right? We discussed about the vestigial organs and how they are of no use anymore. And today we're going to see further. Okay, can you all see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, okay, everyone, switch on your videos. Let's start today's class. Yes, quickly, everyone. Okay, so in the previous class, we were talking about the various evidences of evolution. So today we're going to move forward and talk about the connecting link. Connecting link are basically, see, those organisms that sort of show the characteristics of two organisms, not fully, but some characteristics of one and some characteristics of another. So those organisms, they are called as connecting links. So those organisms that show the characters of two or different groups or two organisms, we call them as the connecting link. For example, viruses. Now you know that viruses, they are not, you can say, truly living because they are dead outside the body. They are alive inside the body. So neither can you call them as dead nor can you call them as alive. So it is the connecting link which tells us that which one is dead, which one is alive. So that becomes the connecting link between the living and the non-living organism. After that, there is the euglena. Now, euglena is the connecting link between the plant and the animals. How? Because euglena has dual mode of nutrition, meaning that it could do autotrophic nutrition as well as it could do heterotrophic nutrition. So because of that very reason, it's a connecting link in between the plants and the animals. Then there is another organism called as neopilina. Now, neopilina, it is the connecting link between annelids, meaning all those, just like how earthworms are there, so organisms like earthworms, and mollusca, such as the snails and stuff, snails, octopus and all. So, neopilina, see, euglena must be underlined, neopilina must be underlined. Then peripatus, it is the connecting link between annelids and the arthropods. Then last one is Archaeopteryx. Have you people seen that? Have you people seen Archaeopteryx? Any picture of it have you seen? No. Okay, wait, let me show you Archaeopteryx. See, it doesn't exist anymore, but the fossils of Archaeopteryx or the remains of the Archaeopteryx that we see today tells us about how this organism initially was and how it has the characteristics of two different organisms. Now, can you see this picture that I'm sharing? Can you see the screen? So see, when we talk about the Archaeopteryx fossil, a lot has been revealed from the fossil of Archaeopteryx. Now, what all things have been really revealed from that? Archaeopteryx basically is the connecting link between the reptiles and the birds. Now, you people know that reptiles, they have a very dry, scaly skin, right? Whereas birds have wings. So because of these two reasons, Archaeopteryx becomes the connecting link. And all these pictures that you see, these are all imaginary pictures. The real picture is not available because this organism is not found anymore. But for example, if we see just this picture. Now, if you see here, do you see how scaly the skin is on the face or on the feet? Do you see? That resembles the reptiles, such as the snakes and all. So that resembles the reptiles. And they have the flying apparatus, which is the wings, which represents the birds. So that is why we say that Archaeopteryx, it is a connecting link between reptiles and the birds. Now there is another phenomena that is called as atavism. Now this is the appearance, the reappearance of ancestral character. Now see, in us, you can say what happens is that mostly for human beings, the canines are not extremely sharp because now we have a mixed diet that we follow, isn't it? We do not follow a very strict carnivorous diet. We have a mixed diet. So that is why the canines that were used to tear the meat and stuff, our canines are not very sharp. It's slightly blunt. But if any person has very pointy canines, then that is atavism. That is basically ancestral trait or ancestral character is reappearing. Then thick body hair. Now, these days, the people that are there, they do not have a very dense covering over the body of hair. But earlier, people used to have. But today also, you might find that some people are extremely hairy, right? Like hairy enough that their chest, their arms, their feet, their knuckles, everywhere there will be thick hair. So that is atavism. And sometimes in newborn babies, tail-like structure, like not exactly a tail, but a tiny tail bone might appear. So that is atavism. Is it clear? Clear to everyone?
Yes. Yes.
Now today we're going to talk about adaptive radiation. Now adaptive radiation is also one such, you can say, evolution evidence wherein, for example, it's related with the geographical area the organism lives in. So the process of evolution of different species in a given geographical area starting from one point and radiating to the other areas. So meaning if all the organisms of this area, they are alike or they have similar characters. But when they start to, go to different habitat, slowly, they adapt new characters. So this is called as adaptive radiation. Like they'll move at different place and they'll adapt the new habitat. So the examples are Darwin's finches, Australian marsupials, and Australian placental mammals. Three examples are there. Now let's talk about each of these examples. First of all, we'll talk about the Darwin's finches. Now, when we talk about Darwin's finches, so what happens is that Charles Darwin, basically he went on a voyage. Okay, voyage means the sea journey. He went on a voyage and he went to Galapagos Island. So while he was going there, he observed that there was a small black bird. Hmm? That particular small black bird, when he saw that bird at different locations, the bird had a different kind of beak according to the area where it was living and what was its habitat. For example, the seed-eating birds were the real ones, so they had a smaller beak. Then the birds that had, that ate the fruits, they had a different beak. And the bird that ate insects, they had a different beak. So he saw that the same organism, when, according to the different food habitat, the beak adapted accordingly. So that is what we mean by adaptive radiation. Okay. So there are during his journey, Darwin went to Galapagos Island. He observed an amazing diversity in a small black bird. Now we call it as the Darwin finches. Now there were many varieties of finches in the same island. Now, all of them had different kind of beak according to the various, you can say, food habit that they have. So, for example, from the seed eater, there was the cactus eater, insect eater, fruit eater, seed eater. So, the seed eater had crusting beak, normal beak. The cactus eater had a probing beak, a very pointy beak and thin beak. Then the insect eater had sort of like a grasping beak so that it could grasp. And the fruit eater had a parrot-like beak, just like how a parrot has a beak, like this. So it had a beak so as to eat the fruit. This doesn't look like a beak, it looks like an elephant's trunk, but you people think that this is beak. Okay, so now you see how the same organism, when the habitat evolved into different organisms, the beak also evolved. So this is called as adaptive radiation. This is according to the geographical location. So here the common ancestor is obviously the seed eater. So when they move to different habitat and develop certain variations to adapt into the habitat. And after some time, the adaptation is so permanent and prominent that they can't interbreed. So now the fruit eating becomes a separate population, seed eating becomes a separate population, and they'll not interbreed amongst, meaning they'll not procreate amongst themselves. Is it clear, students? Sure. Second example of adaptive radiation is marsupials. Now see, marsupials and like marsupial mammals, placental mammals. Two types of mammals are there. Now, have you people seen kangaroo? What is so unique about kangaroo? Can someone tell me? Other than their kick, what is so unique about that? Also, other than the fact that they are cute, what is so unique about that? Tell me.
They have a pocket
They have a
to
pocket
store
for what?
their babies,
What pocket?
to protect their babies.
Yes. So what happens in them is that their offspring that are born, they are born usually premature. Okay. So they stay attached inside the mother's pouch throughout. Okay. So that they can get the nourishment. And once they become fully developed, then they live separately. But that pouch is for the protection and the nourishment of the baby. So mostly, for example, all the marsupials, they are the ones that they do not have a perfect placenta and their babies are premature when they are born. So they are a type of mammals. Then when we talk about placental mammals, so they are the ones that will be having a proper placenta present, which will deliver the properly developed child or offspring. So these two types of mammals, both of them arose in Australia, okay, and nowhere else. So a number of marsupials, each different from the other, evolved from an ancestral stock, but all within the same continent, that is the Australian geographical area. So within the Australian, like the marsupials, we had Tasmanian wolf, tiger cat, then band anteater, then marsupial rat, kangaroo, wombat, bandicoot, koala, marsupial. You might have seen koalas also, they have their babies always hugging them while they're on the tree, isn't it? So again, this is a mechanism. They don't like to hug around. It's their survival thing. It's because if they don't hug their children and they don't carry the baby koalas everywhere, they'll die because they are premature. Same way sugar glider. So these all organisms, they are the marsupial ones that are mostly found in the Australian continent in that one geographical area. But accordingly, they have different, you can say adaptive mechanisms. Same way on the other hand are the Australian placental mammals. They are the ones that again show adaptive radiation. They are just like the normal like marsupials, but they have a developed placenta and their babies are not premature. Clear? So now they will ask you which type of evolution is seen in adaptive radiation. So which type of evolution? So convergent. What is the meaning of convergent? Is it coming like this or is it going like this? Which one is convergent? This one or this one? Which one?
The second one.
Show me by your hands. Which one am I talking about when we talk about convergent evolution? Converging is at one common point. So they have different features, but they are belonging to the same geographical area. So when more than one adaptive radiation appeared in an isolated geographical area with different habitat, then convergent evolution happens. Why? Because it is due to the similar adaptation in same habitat. For example, adaptive radiation of placental mammals and adaptive radiation of Australian marsupials, they show convergent evolution. In similar habit, they show similar adaptation. So there is a corresponding member of both type in the same habitat. So both the kind, like for example, they'll have few differences, but they'll all belong to one common geographical area. Is it clear, students? Any doubts in this? Wait, to clear this out, I'd also like to use NCRT book just to show you the comparative analysis of these two organisms. What? Can you tell me the chapter number of this evolution? What is the chapter number? It's chapter number six. As like everyone has understood the adaptive radiation, do you people have any doubts in that? Anything you want to ask me? People have understood? Okay, wait, this my PDF is loading. See this. Let's go to the part of adaptive radiation and how. See, this is the part of homologous and analogous that we talked about in yesterday's class. How they all have the same bone structure, but they use their four limbs for different functions. So these are your homologous organs that show divergent evolution. So everyone has that this thing, updated NCRT book only. The ones that have the topics removed, certain topics. Is Okay, see, this is the Darwin's finches that we talked about. Now you see the variations in their beaks, right? How their beaks vary from the different food habits that they have. See, bigger beak, smaller beak, right? This is a pointier beak. So that is how the adaptive radiation is like one such example. Then another example was the marsupial radiation, this one, which is an example of adaptive radiation. Now, these are Australian marsupials that we talked about, right? And see, this is how like converge. Why are we talking about the convergent evolution? Is because the ones that are found in the Australian, like the ones that are Australian marsupials and the ones that are Australian placental mammals, they show a lot of similarities amongst themselves, despite of being of different locations or despite of being of different types. So, for example, the mole, right, and the marsupial mole. Then there is the anteater, then numbat. This is not loading only. So because they show certain similarities amongst themselves, that is why we are calling adaptive radiation, or this adaptive radiation when it happens more than one time in the same geographical area, we call it as convergent evolution. Clear? Is it clear, students? Any doubts? Achha, which chapter did we complete it before this?
Biotechnology and applications.
Achha, did we do the questions of that chapter? NCERT questions? No. All right, you people note down till here. Then we'll move forward. Wait, wait. I don't know what has happened to this. Yeah. See. So they are showing somewhat of the similarity amongst themselves. So there is the mole, the marsupial mole, the anteater, which is a placental mammal, the numbat, which is a Australian marsupial mammal. Then the normal mouse, then there is marsupial mouse. Then there is the lemur and the spotted couscous. Then there is flying squirrel and then flying phalanger. Bobcat, Tasmanian tiger. So some way or the other, they show similarities among themselves. And that is why we are saying that the adaptive radiation confers to the similarity and all in all the convergent evolution. Clear, students? Now, what is the last thing you people note down in the previous class?
Theory of chemical evolution.
Theory of
Chemical evolution.
chemical evolution. Okay, are you people facing any problems in this chapter? Any up until now? Is there any topic that you people have not understood? Okay, if there is, then please feel free to ask me questions. Okay, this part you were doing. Okay, now you note down.
Done, ma'am.
Done? Everyone's done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
Done, ma'am. Ma'am, done.
Done, ma'am. Done.
Done, ma'am.
Students, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, now are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. All right. Done till here. Shall I scroll down? Is everyone done? Not done.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Done, students? Done till here?
Yes, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
any doubts up until now? No doubt, students?
Ma'am, could you scroll a little up? Thank you, ma'am.
Should we write the debug?
No, this formation of eobiont protocell is not necessary. You write from first cellular life.
Done, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
All right, students. So let's just keep it till here only for today's class. We'll continue in the next class, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.